Hello and welcome to another live stream. My name is Shane Olson and today we're going to be continuing to work on this angry feller is what I'm calling him. This is where we left off last week, and this week I want to add his jacket and his shirt and his tie, and then do some asymmetrical posing, and then add all the details and stuff to his hair. So let's go. And I'm going to try a little bit of music this hour, so we'll see how that goes. Let me know if it's too loud or intrusive. What's up, Brad? How are you doing? Let me know how this this music is. It's too loud or annoying or whatever. Hey, John. Hey, Neil. And Neil. How you guys doing? Okay, it's kind of where we left off last week. 1 second. Hey, Mark, how are you doing? Not sure what happened to the music. You guys hear it all right? Barely there? I just want it barely there. Just so it's not like absolute silence. Okay, anyway. Let's go here. So, where we left off, I'm really liking the colors of his skin. I'm happy with where that's at. I feel like he's showing too much of his teeth. I want to push those up underneath his mustache a little bit more. Give him an asymmetrical pose and then work through his hair and make his hair kind of shaggy. And then add some detail, like see this extra like hairs in the surface there. Yeah, I want to add that and maybe darken the areas around his eyeballs. Oh, thanks so much. And then yeah, let's go ahead and start adding. Let's build up his shirt. So this is actually going to be the lowest level. So it's color brown, but it's going to be his shirt first. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the color off of here and then paint it. So how's everybody doing today? Hey, Lisa. How's it going? Oh, select the right thing. Now this is really low. So I'm going to go ahead and apply the dynamic subdivisions, and then I'm going to delete lower like this. And then, hey Lisa, I just read your message. You were saying like I used to use like whoops. Like remesh by ZRemesher? Is that what you're talking about? I mean, not to have the conversation here, but is that what you're talking about? I cannot remember ever using that. That's interesting. I'm going to have to go back and watch. Okay. Yeah, remesh by union I can remember using all the time, but not that. Okay, so we'll just paint this white. It's going to be covered by the collar. Used it a few times on the streams. Okay. Yeah, I'm constantly experimenting with stuff, with workflows. You know, hang around the stream long enough and you'll see me try different things. Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to fill this whole thing with white. Why not? Okay, and then we're going to use the new Retopo tools. Should we do that? Yeah, so it's that dense, and we're just going to go BR, and it's right here. This is the new Retopo, which I love, love, love. It takes a minute to load because it has to load all the patches. There it goes. The big eyes remind me of the driver in the old Tamiya radio controlled cars. Oh, I think I can remember those. Okay, so how this works is when you tap on the surface, it's going to ask you this question. It's basically asking, are you starting a new subtool, or are you going to use the subtool that you're currently on as the retopo mesh? And for me, I'm going to use a new subtool, so I'm going to go ahead and say yes. See, it says select yes to create a new retopo mesh. I'm going to go ahead and hit yes. And you guys, please let me know if this music is annoying, too loud, whatever. I'm just trying it. I'm using this player called Pretzel. That's it shouldn't get me copyright striked. So I wanted to try it. Just some chill tunes, so it's not completely silent when I'm quiet. Okay, so with this brush, basically what it does, it turns on transparency. It gives you this little dot indicator, and then it it turns on snapping, so then you can make dots. So you basically tap a dot here. That's too close. I want it kind of apart like that, and we'll mush it together later. And then maybe like this. And wherever you create 4 dots like this, and you hold down space bar, it's going to make a new face. Like that. You just tap on it after you push space bar. So, and then while it's active, you can adjust these points. Like I can snap it, but I don't want to. I'm just gonna leave it separate there. Just gonna pull this up. This is probably my favorite new addition from the newer releases of ZBrush. It's really great. Can just kind of pull that up onto his neck, actually. The music's super subtle. All right, I'm going to turn it up just a little bit. Yeah, I don't want it to impede. I just want it to kind of fill in the background. Oh, come on. Okay, so now that I have that done, if you look at the subtool list, it puts a orange dotted line around your subtool. That just indicates that it started its life as a retopo mesh. It doesn't do anything other than tell you that. Just so it's just an indicator. It doesn't say anything other than that. It's not like a special mesh. It's just a normal mesh that you can then edit. It's not like you enter and exit out of a retopo mode or anything like that. You kind of do when you have the brush active, but like I can switch over to the Z Modeler brush now. The transparent thing stays on, so you can just turn that back off. But it's just a regular mesh now. It's got symmetry, all that stuff. It's really nice. It's easy. So now I can just go to extrude, polygroup all. Actually, I'm not going to extrude it. I'm going to turn on dynamic subdivisions and add some thickness. Let's just solo that for a minute. Add some thickness. I'm going to turn off this post subdiv right here. Add a little bit more thickness. And I'm going to add some support loops, so it's not so round in these areas. Okay, I'm going to go into Z Modeler, hit insert edge, and just drag it kind of close to this edge. Drag another one close to this edge, and then one more close to this edge. Now when I turn it on, you'll see that the color's nice and sharp because it has those support edges. And now I'm still editing a single-sided plane, which is great. Much easier to edit. So then I can pull it up his neck now, like this. And then just kind of pull it out away from his shirt. to make it look like a proper collar. And then I'm going to kind of push this closer now. And I'm going to put a tie under there, so I don't really care about it connecting and going back down. Hey, what's up, Wexter? How you doing, man? Hey, Wexter, is it pretty late for you where you're from? Okay, I can also turn up the subdivisions a little bit. Thanks, Neil. Yeah, if you want to learn how to make full characters like this and learn how to 3D print them or make them into game characters, you can join us over at my school. It's school.com/3DCW. The link is down in the description. Hey guys. Seems like a better process than just using ZModeler by itself. Absolutely. Not yet. It's like 9 p.m. Oh, that's not too bad. Yeah, there's sometimes where I choose to just use Retopo really quick. I'll do it for this collar again. It's so fast that it's like there's no reason not to, you know. Yeah, I'll even do it. I think maybe for the shoulder. I'll show you a little trick on how to retopo that shoulder. I want to bring it out just a little bit with the move brush because it's kind of flat. So grab this. Oh, I'll fill it with the color. Okay, so I'll just kind of drag this out, and it kind of gives a little rim or edge along there. You can kind of see. Okay. And then I don't really care about, you know, breaking what's going on underneath there. I just care about the shoulder because I want this seam right here. I can do it with panel loops if I want to, but I'm going to kind of show you how to retopologize it and make it that way. So, because again, experimenting is fun, right? So, let's see here. I'm going to go to the retopo. Okay. And so we're starting a new retopo mesh. As soon as I tap on it, it's going to say, hey, is that what you want? Say yes. Okay, and then it'll go into that transparent mode. And then we're going to go, to do round stuff, it's weird. I always start with a square. So I'll do a square like this. And then put, if you hold down spacebar and drag, it will continue making those edges. And then I kind of drag this out like this. And then I want to put, I'm trying to remember, spacebar. Yeah, spacebar will add a cut down the center. So we have a cut now. And I'll bring these out. This. Because I'm going to make it round now. So I'm going to go like this. Dot, 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 dot. Like that. Hold down spacebar and just go boop, boop, boop. Oh, come on. There we go. Sometimes it doesn't do what you want it to do. So you have to do single taps. See, it doesn't quite know what dot I want to go to. If that's the case, you can hover over an edge and then hold down Alt, see how it's changing the icon, and then grab that edge and pull it out to meet those dots. And then you can kind of snap. Sometimes it doesn't snap far enough like that. So I'm going to try spacebar. Like that. Okay. So now we have our shoulder and it's round. It's very low poly. You can come back in here. And this is still snapping to the surface as long as you use your retopo brush. This is just like a tweak mode. You can just kind of drag it around. And there's there's two brush sizes as part of the Retopo brush. So there's the brush size that I'm currently using right now that is like a point editor and point maker. But as soon as I hit spacebar, can you see it change just a little bit? And it also adds that little square icon. That's a second brush size for when you're putting down the faces. And you can change either one of those. So if you want to change the brush size for the spacebar, hold down spacebar, change the brush size, and you're good to go. Random question of the day. If Infinity was still around and you got the Gravity Falls license, which character would you like to sculpt from the show in that style? Oh, interesting, interesting. I'm trying to remember all of them. I love, like, I can't remember the guy's name. He's got like teeth all over the place. He's like a I can't remember his name. He kind of has a pear-shaped body. That guy'd be fun. I actually, during one of my live streams, I modeled one of the cops, the skinny cop. Yeah, so I have modeled something from Gravity Falls before. Okay, so now that we have this, we're kind of done. So we can go back to the Z Modeler brush, turn off transparency. Did I see what Creature Kid did? I don't think I did. What are you talking about? Okay, so now we have these two. Let's turn on double so we can see them both. So this is super low poly. I'm gonna add a few more in here. So I can hover over this and insert an edge loop here, one here, one here, one here. And then you can see when you add an edge loop, it kind of flattens it out. So I like to pull the edges out just a little bit like this. And just kind of make it flat across the bottom. And then go really low with my smooth brush and just kind of relax it into place. And then I can use inflate to inflate it back. Because smooth doesn't affect the edges unless you use smooth cloth, then it will. An effects company that has a YouTube channel. They made a realistic Grunkle stand. It's amazing. I don't know if I have. I might have. Okay. Just kind of inflating this around here. Could have done with seeing how to make curves like this when I was doing goggles earlier this week. Yeah, yep. You could make goggles like this. Easy. I'd probably, with goggles though, I'd probably start with a cylinder and edit that. I kind of approach everything slightly differently. Okay, so, yeah, now that we have this, we can just add thickness to it. I typically would not build the shoulder like I just did, but I wanted to show you guys that it's possible, you know. I'll show you how I would actually do it in a really easy way, easier than this. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete that, but I wanted to show you guys how to do it. Okay, bye-bye. Let's save this. I'm gonna name it Angry Feller 2. Second. Okay. Somebody was messaging me. I just had to check it here. Okay. So what I would actually do is let's just get a sphere. My insert mesh brush. Grab a sphere like this. Go like this. Straighten it out a little bit. Let's make it a little bit bigger. And then just use, here, let's split it off. Okay, And then use this clip curve brush, and we'll just smash it like that. And then I think I want to, actually let's knife it instead of smash it. So smash it, we'll just take all the geometry and smash it up there. But if I were to do it this direction, you'll see it just kind of, it doesn't do a good job. So if you solo the retopo mesh, it still snaps to the mesh below. No, you have to view it in order to snap it, as far as I know. Okay, I'm going to use this knife cut brush instead. I'm going to go a little bit above this line like this. Okay, and it'll make some triangles, and that's okay. And then I'll cut it this way. The reason I'm using it, because it should, does it not? Yeah, it should make new polygroups. You can see it's really low. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to undo that and subdivide it twice, just so I have more geometry, and then get rid of the lower subdivision levels, and then clip and then knife it. Okay. I'm going to turn off perspective as well. Did I have perspective on? Yeah, now it's off. Okay. So I'm going to chop it again. This part, it doesn't really matter if you're on the line or not, because I'm going to rebuild it. So see, now it's smoother, and now I'm just going to Z-remesh it. So I'm going to use keep groups. I'm going to turn smooth groups all the way to 0. And then I'll just see what it gives me. There you go. Not bad, not bad. Yeah, this looks like the same polygroup, but it's actually a different one. So I'm gonna color it completely differently, so we know this. Okay, now we can go half. So Z-remesher half. Same thing. We're just gonna go down and just low, low, like that. See, we pretty much have the same thing as we had before when I retopped it, but it was much quicker to do. Okay, so I can put this here. And then we'll set it maybe like this and scale it up to be his shoulders. Scale it a little narrow. Okay, and then we can kind of tilt it a little bit just to match. And then select his body, and then just kind of push that underneath the shoulder. And now this one, I can use that clip curve brush to give it a, or a knife even. Let's use a knife. Snap it, cut it. Okay, I'm gonna cut off the bottom too from this angle. Just give it like that, and then I'm going to give him a neck hole on an angle like this. Okay, and then we'll Z-remesh this. Again, keep polygroups, crank this down to 0, set it to 4, Z-remesh. Okay, it's giving me a little bit of grief right there. I don't know why, but I'm gonna undo that. It looks like, okay, I'm gonna do a mirror and weld, which will fix that center point. Now if I Z-remesh it, it shouldn't give me grief. There we go, now it's cleaner. And now I can do half, go down, go down. There we go, nice and clean. Hey Signor, how you doing? I know I missed, but how did you, I know I missed it, but how did you get your scale on the outside of Gizmo instead of default little box? That's a custom Gizmo I made for myself. Yeah. Because I go back and forth between other programs, and the other program has a Gizmo like that, and it just keeps my brain straight. But I'm gonna be giving it away. Well, I still have to figure it out, because in my school, my brushes are currently inside the school, not on the outside for free like I had them before. So it's kind of a bonus for signing up for my school, I guess. Okay, so now what I can do is crease polygroups. These polygroups. And then turn on dynamic subdivisions, and now we have a super clean mesh. And then we can do the same thing with this. Do crease polygroups, and you'll notice that I'm changing the crease level down to 2. And then creasing it. I recently started sculpting. I first started with Nomad to get the hang of it, and then get started with ZBrush this past week. Your Nomad videos were great. Oh, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Thanks, WDS. I appreciate that. Okay, we'll turn this on. Grab the move brush, make it big, and just kind of, it's so much easier to edit when you have low resolution topology. Okay. I do have a bit of news that's kind of fun. I'm gonna be working with Disney again. So I'm gonna be working for their Disney consumer products. I don't know in what capacity yet, but it's pretty exciting news. Okay, go lower. Thanks. That scale is so much easier than the little box. Yeah, it is. In Orlando, no, actually in LA. But they're part of the same division. In Glendale. Thanks. I'm gonna kind of cut these in a little bit so he's kind of has frumpy shoulders. Yeah, I worked for Disney for 10 years. I have a plaque that says 10 years with Goofy on it. No, it has Mickey on it. I have a pin that has Goofy on it. It has Mickey. That's right. Okay. Are you asking, what are you asking me, texture? Okay, now with this, I'm going to run the collar up and over. I'm actually going to make this collar skinnier as it goes back. I made it too thick. So this is the beauty of 10 years tenure. Is it? I don't know. Mark, I don't know. So I'm going to be like a contractor, not, I won't be, well, at least not yet, but not a full-time, just doing some contract work for them. Maybe, hopefully, someday, sometime it will turn into that. I don't know. It'd be nice. Texture and substance? No. No, this is for collectibles. I'm not doing it for animation or games or anything like that. This is for collectibles. If you see my shelf behind me, that's what I do it for 3D printing and collectibles, and yeah, that's kind of what I do now. I used to do a lot of game characters, but not so much anymore. My focus has shifted. And I love it. I love making toys and collectibles. Okay, that's kind of better, but I want to drag out. I'm going to make these two part of the same subtool. It's looking like a little girl's school outfit. Oh gosh. Okay. So I want these shoulders. I'm going to move, not the collar, but the body and the shoulders. I'm going to merge those together. Merge down. There we go. That way I can mask this off, or unmask this off. Blur it. And then pull this out. Okay. Make his shoulders longer. And drop them a little bit. If you 3D print at home or use an external service, also, are your collectibles always printed with resin? That's a great question. I do have 2 resin printers right over here. I have a Form 3 and a Form 2. And I have, just recently, I have a Bamboo Lab A1, which is a filament style printer. And that thing I love to death because of low toxicity. And it does very clean prints. Let me show you something that I did not too long ago. Okay. 1 second, let me grab it. I gotta be careful because it's in the middle of winter here where I'm from, and there's a lot of static electricity in the air. It gets really, really dry. So I have to be careful because I'll shock the microphone or my screen and all sorts of stuff. So, or my headphones. 1 second, I'll be right back. 1 sec. Yep, I am working on Wolverine, but he's not finished yet. Let's see. Okay, this is my Lion-O. This is printed in on a filament printer, and it's colored with acrylic markers. Yeah, so I made his little logo raised so I could hit it with a marker. Yeah, this guy was super fun. So this one is in filament on a bamboo, and then this one is resin. It's a different pose. It's a little cleaner. Let's see if I can make it focus on my hand. Yeah, it's cleaner. You can see it's hollowed out like right there. And this is also painted with acrylic markers. And yeah, this is a Wolverine I'm looking at. I did I sculpted him on the, like I cut him and made him print ready during one of my live streams. And he's got, I don't know if this is the arm for that. Yeah, this is one of his arms. Kind of goes in like that. And now that I've done this, I would probably take Wexter's advice, and I want to print him larger and in one piece, the whole thing. Instead, I'm so used to printing in resin that I'm drawn to making everything have keys and parting it out so I can orient the parts a specific way. But I think with PLA, it's just not necessary, you know? So anyway, yeah, that's what I'm working on. All right. Back to our regularly scheduled program. Yeah, and just so you know, I teach all this stuff. Don't listen to that guy. Yeah, he's a kook. Oh man. Yeah, the first print I printed on my Bamboo Lab A1, I just filled the whole plate with parts. And Wexter was just like, "What are you doing?" Luckily it worked out, but yeah, that was sketchy. Do you have any experience with Elegoo printers? I don't, John. Sorry. I've also worked with Derek Jackson. He works for Lychee. He lives down the street from me, and he has like a basement full of printers, including Elegoo printers. And he's been printing a bunch of stuff for me too. Okay. Wexter, I think I broke Derek. I think he's gonna get out of doing that many prints anymore. Okay. Trying to decide which one to get. I would go watch Derek over on Lychee's YouTube channel, and he talks about what's the best printer to get as a newbie. He has better opinions on it than I do, since he uses so many of them. Yeah, there's some specific videos he's made that talks exactly about that. Sorry, I'm being like super meticulous with the shape of this thing because I'm about to draw the collar on top of it, and I want the surface to be the right shape before I do it. I'm just looking at this line and this flow going down here. Okay, I'm gonna put the tie in there first, I think. So make sure this is selected. Do an insert. Okay. I'm gonna split this one off. Then we can scale it down. Could I give you Derek's name? Just go to Lychee, L-Y-C-H-E-E, I believe. I can only say about those that I have tried, and I'm pretty happy with my Saturn IV Ultra, and I also have previous versions too. Nice. Do I sell those collectibles? I don't, but I've been thinking about selling STLs for people to print. I haven't done it yet. I'd have to get permission from the prospective artists, like the Wolverine is designed by Sean Galloway, so I'd have to ask him and probably share profits with him or something. I don't know. I don't know. Somebody whoever was asking about this this gizmo here, I also added these little scale spheres on the ends here, and I got them out of because there was like rectangles down on the lines down here, and they were just kind of hard to grab. But I did leave the these ticks where they were. Cheeks, yep, cheeks. Yeah, Sean's great. So I'm gonna tuck this down underneath and just shape it like a tie. Yeah, I love Sean's designs so much. They're so sculptable. He actually helped us on Infinity. They flew him out to the office and he helped us with the designs. I think I'm gonna curve this out a little bit. So I'm gonna add another. Now here's a trick that a lot of people don't know. Hey, Ginger Bear, how are you, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. So what you can do with the Z modeler brush is you can crank up the Z intensity on it to like, don't go too high, but like an 8 or so. And then when you click on this, see how it kind of bulges it out? It's like it moves it along its normals. And so it gives kind of a surface radial thing without having to go in and touch it again, which is cool. Yeah, how you been, Ginger Bear? What's going on? Good listening while at work animating. Awesome. Love to hear it. Yeah, it's been a while. We should catch up sometime. Yeah, this character's great. I hate to say it. I think it's an AI generated thing, but I loved it so much that I'm just like, meh, whatever. I'll sculpt it, make it mine. always rotating my model when trying to adjust the scale rectangles. Yeah, it's in the way, right? I'll make this available to my school students. I'll give it to you guys. So there's incentive for you to sign up even for a month. I think that's what other people sell their custom brushes for. Okay, I think I want to go, I'm going to grab this bluish, like more of a blue black. Yeah, Neil, a little bit. Less than others I've seen, I guess. Some of them are extremely apparent. It's like, ugh. Okay. Yeah, that said, for anything I do professionally, I always use commissioned artists. But for something just for fun like this, I'm just like, whatevs, it's fun. This nose was great. Okay, now we got that. Let's do the coat. Yeah, shoulders are a bit. I'm just gonna try something. I want to try and curve his shoulders smaller. See if it works. And then just kind of smooth them out. Yeah, I think it's all right. I just want him to have those little shoulders, and then maybe turn him in. I don't know if this will work or not. Something. I think that'll work. I kind of like the choppy bottom, like, so it's not so flat. Let's see, but it's also fun to have it clean too. I'm gonna add these little hairs on the back. I decided just after I do the coat, I'll get up into the doing the hair. So okay, let's do the collar and the shirt. Okay, I'm trying to think of how I want to do this. I think I just want to extract the shirt off of the suit, just to kind of have it floating, and then I'll make this whole thing the suit and then put the collar over top of it just to hide that seam. I think that's what I'll do. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and duplicate this this body thing, and then I think what I can do. I kind of wish it was flowing up and around the neck, but it's not. Kind of is, but not in the way I want it to. Because sometimes I would prefer to use geometry that already exists. So I think I might. Nah, I'll just knife it. So one different thing that I like to do with when I'm making characters for 3D printing and collectibles versus like for games, for example, is I will keep the object very thick and keep the thicknesses all the way through the model, or at least like bury it into the model. I don't have a bunch of thin things all over the place. Like that collar, for example, that thing, that's probably the thinnest I'll have an object, But usually like a belt, I won't make a thin belt all the way around. I'll make it like capped, so it has a cap going through. If that makes any sense. Okay, let's do Z-remesher, no groups. Oh, I don't want to do half, and I need to delete hidden. I need to do same. Why is it so dark? Oh, because it got rid of the color and okay. Grab this color. Okay, I think I'm actually going to get rid of this blue poly group, so it'll just kind of cover over the top. So I'll combine the neck just like that, and then Z-remesh it again at the same, and it'll just kind of steamroll over the top and get rid of that neck. And then I don't need it to be this far back, so I think I'm going to cut that off. Like this. Okay, and then I should have saved my Z-remesh until I cut that, but there we go. And let's turn smoothing way down so I can get it nice and even. There we go, clean mesh. Okay. Let's see, it's a little wide now. I should have looked while I was doing it. But I want the collar to kind of come down and then become the shirt. So I think I am going to cut it like this. There we go. And then I might as well just cut it like halfway through like that. It's like a dickie. Okay. There's not really a reason that I need that extra poly group, so I'm going to cut it this way. From the middle down to about here. Okay, one more time. For those in the back. There we go. Okay. Sorry, that was kind of a long way around. Hey, Infused. Any way to bake color, like making normal bakes? There is, yeah. I typically don't do my bakes inside of ZBrush, but there's ways of doing it in here. Yeah. But you can only bake from the same subtool. So you can only bake from the high resolution to the low resolution of that same subtool. And typically you want to bake several high resolution objects to one low resolution object. And that is not possible inside of ZBrush. So that's why I typically will take it outside of ZBrush. Okay, now we can get, oh man, let me fill this. And then, there we go, it's halfway there. Now we can just do the collar and be done. We'll cover over this. Sure. Okay, and the suit collar is going to cover this little bit. So I don't mind if it's looking weird for a minute. Okay, so we're going to draw this suit collar. I'm going to save it first. Mirror. Okay, so I'm going to use the new retopo brush, BR Retopo. And then we're just going to start drawing. Yes. Start drawing our points. So usually what I really love about this retopo brush is it allows you to plan. So you can kind of figure out where your faces can go. So like this dot is about at the end of this collar, so somewhere in here, and then the inside of this triangle is kind of straight across from it, but down. So like maybe here, and then I can make the collar go out to about here, and then the other triangle down here. So that's, you can kind of see the pattern. It's like a star cluster. And then you can just start to work out the faces. So I can put a face here and a face there. And then for this one, I can put a face here, and no, don't want that. There, like that. And then I can edit these after the fact. So I can aim it down, because it gets really narrow, you know, past here, goes down into the suit, whatever. So I can pull these a little closer. If I wanted to add one more cut through here, you can just hold down space bar and add another cut. Okay. And then I can also hold down Alt and pull these out and just kind of stick them wherever I want, but that one's not wanting to snap. So I can put a dot here, do it again, and now it'll hit the dot and then that. So you can give yourself anchor points, or you can try to snap to existing geometry. So like an anchor point there. And I can drag this one out this way or the other one down. It doesn't matter. It's pretty nice. Okay. And then we'll just kind of bring this up, straighten it up. And then let's see. Boop, boop. No. Sometimes it doesn't want to do what you want it to do, so you have to kind of hover around until you get it to do what you want it to do. Or you can just drag these out like this. Sometimes it's easier. Oh gosh. Stop flipping out. So what do you guys think? Music, yes or no? Is it bothering you at all, or is it okay? I'm curious if that would be an easier way to make a helmet. I tried the other day using mask though. This seems so much better for control. Absolutely 100%. Helmet. I choose retopology way more than extraction any day of the week. Extraction is just like, yeah, you're immediately gonna fight it. Even with Z remeshing and all that stuff, you're still gonna fight it. Kind of wanna, okay. I want to get really thin with this up here, but now that I have this in place, I'm gonna edit it after the fact. So I'm done laying down the geometry, and now I can just turn off transparency, go to my Z modeler brush. I can even solo it, turn on double so I can see all the way through both sides. Music's okay, better to have it? Cool. Music volumes optimal? So you like it at that level? Okay, thank you for the feedback. I usually don't have music, and sometimes it makes me feel like I'm just sculpting into the void. I think music helps me allows me to be silent at parts. So I don't feel like I have to just yap the whole time, you know? Sometimes smoothing will cause a valley. See that smoothing? It's like creates this scoop, scallop, whatever you want to call it. So then I have to come back in with inflate. Music helps everything. I wish I could listen to the music that I listen to though, and not get copy struck, you know? Because this is not what I listen to when I sculpt, typically. Yeah. Yeah, Neil Whitehall knows what I typically listen to. Would it be too much to ask for a small tutorial in school using the retopo instead of extract? Sure. Yeah, that's a good one. I could probably demo it during next week's live Q&A if that's cool. I'm always looking for things to demo. Yeah, I go live twice a week in my school. On Mondays I go live doing a full character from start to finish. I mean, I don't do a full character every Monday, but I'm working on a series of a full character and I'm taking it all the way to finish. You can put your music and share the link of your playlist. Oh, you're talking about like my Spotify playlist? I could, yeah. I have one called Music to Sculpt to, and it's a whole bunch of movie soundtracks that I love and game soundtracks. It's funny because it just kind of makes you feel epic when you're sculpting. It's silly, but it's just fun. All right, we're gonna add some thickness to this. Now this collar is a bit trickier than the other one. I don't think I want to put a bunch of support loops on this one. So what I think I might do is just add the thickness and then subdivide that and put the creases in. So this is where I really would love to be able to crease these points rather than just the edges. So how you can do that, you can either just extract the faces like normal with the Z modeler brush, or I could do, you do this, you just turn the smoothing all the way to 0, so it's nice and crispy like this, but it has the thickness, and then you hit apply, and now it's you have the thickness. I like that because you can kind of preview the thickness, and then you hit dynamic again, and you do the opposite. You turn the thickness to 0, and then you turn the smooth up to 4, but it doesn't have any creases, so we're gonna have to go through and crease it. I hate that I'm always at work when the Q&A goes live. I wish I could use my mic. Okay, John, tell me when is a good, like, what time zone are you in and when is a good time? Because my wife suggested that I kind of mix it up, like every other week. Like I'll go live in the mornings and then at night the next week and then in the mornings. So then I can alternate and catch more people that way. Yeah, there's my 80s playlist. I have an 80s playlist. I'm an 80s kid. Okay, so I'm gonna do a group by normals and we'll see what that gives me. Okay. So this is a little too steep right here. You're in California. Oh, you're just an hour. Okay. But yeah, I go live like during like what, 12 p.m. or something, or yeah, like noon or 1. Yeah, there's my playlist. Thanks, Neil. Okay, let's try that again. Crease, or Group by normals. Let's see if it gives. Okay, perfect. Okay, so what I just did there is this, there was a curve right here that was a little too steep, so it was putting polygroups past a certain degree into its own polygroup. And so there's one of two things you can do. You can either adjust the points so the curve isn't so steep, or you can adjust the group by normals max angle. You can adjust that and try it again. Quick synth, Shane, I sing most of the songs on your playlist at karaoke parties. Awesome. On the what, the 80s one? That's hilarious. Okay, so now I can do crease polygroups. So I'm going to turn this down to 2. Crease polygroups, and now you'll see it's nice. It's like a soft bevel. There you go. Then we can just go through and adjust it. One thing I can do too is where the collar meets the shirt, it has an edge on it, and the cloth typically kind of has a slower curve into the inside of the coat, so you can kind of cheat that. So I'm going to let's hide this, and I'm just going to uncrease this top edge. And so what I can do is grab the Z modeler, hover over this edge, push spacebar, do crease, and then crease edge loop partial. That will stop at the poles. So I'm going to hold down Alt to uncrease and just undo that, and now you can see that it has more of a softer profile instead of this hard edge around the outer loop there. And then it looks more like cloth that's kind of turning and going into the suit. I could probably do that around this top one too, so it looks like it's curving in. Let's do that. It's not as harsh, but oh, you know what? This has a support loop instead of a crease. So to do that, basically what you do is go into Z modeler and then do a slide edge loop complete, and just slide this curve away from that edge, which will make it curve slower. If you want the playlist, you would have to jump on Twitch. I can't post links on YouTube. I'll do it. I'll do it for you. In the name of science. Okay. There you go. I should say it's like 80s new wave. So what? Yeah, cured. Yep, all those. Those are all my faves. All right. And there's music to sculpt to. And then where's my 80s playlist? There it is. There you go. Tons of music. Yeah, I don't listen to like this chill kind of stuff that we're listening to now. But it's tolerable, and it doesn't have lyrics, so it's a good background silence filler. Okay, his coat I would say is done. I kind of like this slightly darker collar, because that's what happens when you select something and this is not filled with the color. And what you can do is actually grab this color from here by pushing C, and it'll take it another step down and make it even darker, which is kind of cool. But I'm going to now select this and fill it with that darker brown. So that's kind of a trick you can do. Okay, so let's get into doing the hair. This is always the fun part. So this is the topology. It's not really set up for doing the hair that I want to do. So I have two choices. I can either subdivide it, which is what I'm probably going to do, or I can use Sculptris Pro. So Sculptris Pro will sometimes fight against me So I'm just going to subdivide it instead. And we're going to go up to about 1 million is a good number. And then I like to grab this carve brush and let's do a test. Okay, that's a little slow. Oh, we got dynamic turned on. No, 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 we don't want that. Okay, we're going to save this because I don't want to build that jacket again. All right. Looks like we're streaming to 2 YouTube channels. Interesting. There we go. See, that's kind of the cut I'm looking for. Deep cut. Like that. Okay. So I'm going to make it a different color so I can actually see it. We're going to make it gray for a minute. And then we're just going to do symmetrical strokes. See, I can focus with this music on and it doesn't feel like I'm just silent. And then I'm going to use Alt and do some pulls and pull it up towards me in between these valleys. Give it some more interest. That one's not working out. That's fine. Okay, let's solo it and kind of do some on the back here. I'm going to do some finish work down here, so I'm not too concerned about what's happening down there. You'll never see this, but have you ever tried the semi-realistic fiber mesh hair in ZBrush? Yes, a lot. I remember it from PavMic demos, but I've never seen anyone use it. Yes. If you go back through my history of sculpting on this channel, you'll see occasionally I will use fiber mesh. Not too often. And the reason why I don't do it too often is because it does not 3D print very well. It can, but there's some tricks you got to do to get it to work. One second. Let me just kind of turn my phone down. Yeah, thanks, Neil. I can't believe they haven't given you posting rights to YouTube yet. I need to post more on my own channel. So if you guys want to join my my YouTube channel, it's just 3D Character Workshop, all spelled out. You can find it on YouTube. And I always have good intentions of streaming more over there, but I actually need to set up a schedule and just do it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is set up this move brush. I'm actually going to do snake hook, I think. And then turn on AccuCurve and see if I can get just a few. I'm just going to pull a few of these out just to break up the silhouette. Maybe let's turn this off. It's a little too sharp. That's a little too dull. Need a smaller brush maybe. I just want to pull a few of them out. Okay. I think that works. Okay. You know it works if it makes you laugh. And I'll probably do some gradients, kind of like, yeah, some dark edges and have it kind of lighter in the middle. That's fun. All right. Let's kind of do something similar with these brows. And the brows, they're part of this hair. Are there any new features in the latest ZBrush update that you've been using or thinking about using in your workflow? Yeah, the retopology brush, I use it nonstop. I've used it several times in this build. That's my favorite thing that I can't get enough of. Okay, so I'm just gonna split this off. Split hidden. Okay. And that way I can subdivide it separately than this. Okay, 1 point something million. And we'll do a save so I don't have to sculpt the mustache again. Okay, now with these hairs, let's try to pull them up with AccuCurve. I don't know if it's going to give me what I want, but I just want it kind of subtle. Just little hairs. Happy little hairs. That's enough to... I might have to do Sculptress Pro on these because they're being pulled off quite a ways. Or I can do separate pieces, merge them. Yeah, but I want to keep it 3D printable, so I might do a different stylistic choice treatment to them. Let's see what I can get away with here. Yeah, it's starting to break down. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to go into geometry and then delete lower. And let's change the color. Maybe to this color. Yeah, the snake hook by default has RGB turned on. Oh, thanks, Neil. Yeah, there you go. Episode 102 has fiber mesh hair. Yeah, sometimes I have a lot of fun with it just because it's goofy, you know, and it makes your characters instantly look goofy. So I love it. But again, it's really difficult to make it 3D printable because it's so fibrous, you know. It's really not meant for 3D printing. Okay, so now that we have this down here, we'll just fill it with a color we can see, and then we're gonna do Sculptress. Okay, adaptive size is off. That's good. Pulling strands to break the contour. Love it. Wondering if it will work on temporal area hair. Like, you mean like back here? It will. That's what I'm gonna do, Nick. Yeah. Okay, so what I want to do is first flood fill it with Sculptress because this is very dense. You can see how dense this is right now. I do want it dense, but I don't want it to be slow. So we'll flood fill it with slightly less dense geometry, which will speed things up. And you do want to make sure that you do not have dynamic subdivisions turned on, because that will make ZBrush crawl to a halt. Okay. So snake hook, AccuCurve is turned on, which makes my profile pointy, essentially. And then it's based off of your camera angle, because you're pulling it along the plane of the camera, right? So you just kind of want to try pulling it like this. And then this is going to get pretty thin like a fiber mesh that's not very 3D printable. So we're just gonna have to be careful with that and probably inflate it after. I gotta be careful not to go too even. There we go. It's just begging for one right there, isn't it? And one right here. Okay, but see how thin? That's too thin. So we're gonna go in with the inflate brush and just kind of gently run the inflate over the tips so they're not so stinking thin. There we go. And then I want a little bit of depth, more depth, so it's not everything on one plane. And then we can also break it up. So again, you want to turn your camera so you're actually pulling it from the surface forward and out like this. And that'll give it some more depth. See, I got the camera, it wasn't turned enough. Gotta turn it. Just kind of break this up. We'll just do a couple through here, just faster. See, I pulled those out too much, I think. I want them closer to the brow. Maybe like that. Okay, and then again, rinse, repeat, come back in with inflate. And to get these tips to inflate, you kind of have to start down here and drag up into the tip, because trying to hit it with the brush itself, the tip itself, it's hard to do. And sometimes you'll grab the background behind it and it won't inflate. Sometimes you'll get chunky monkeys like this, and you can hit smooth and just kind of try and get it to rebuild. See, this has got some crappy business going on. It's almost like it's inverted somehow. So what you can do is smooth it out of existence. So we're going to turn up the intensity a lot and just kind of smooth it bye-bye. It looks like this has a problem the same way. You just kind of got to look for that. It got like an inverted end on it. See if there's any other ones that got that, that have that problem. This one looks like, maybe. Okay. There we go, that's kind of fun. I think it's a little too spiky for my taste, but I think I'm going to take inflate, get a really big brush, and see if I can't. Whoops. Ugh. Too much. Too much. Gosh. Okay, turn on Sculptus Pro. Turn down the power. The trick with filling eyes with reflective material, you need to save it as a ZPR to maintain materials, right? No, you don't. I usually hate saving as ZPR, but ZTL do not save materials, if I'm not mistaken. You are mistaken. It will save materials. Yeah. Save as a ZTL. Yep. You should be good to go. There we go. That's better. Okay. Now we can do the carve. And just kind of do some of this action. I don't know how much it looks like hair, but it's kind of fun. I think it'll pass. Maybe we can come back in with the move brush and just kind of Drag the ends out slightly. Let's turn on AccuCurve and get them a little pointier, a little longer. There we go. Gotta be careful. I'm gonna turn on topological and turn this down to 3 because I just want to grab the end. I don't want to grab underneath it. So yeah, this is nicer because it's not like Sculptus Pro ends, you know? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, and the eye material that I have on these eyes, this is ZBrush Eye Reflect. So you can find that eye material. If you're in my school, I got permission to distribute it to my students, but if you're not, you can just do a Google search for it and find it. Okay, that's fun. I'm liking that. Okay, I'm going to show you something fun to do with the paint surface. I'm going to grab kind of this dark red color. And then what is this music? Okay, trumpets. Moving on. Okay. Okay, I'm going to select this head. And I'm actually going to Z-remesh it, then subdivide it so I can paint on it better. Before I do that, I'm going to save it. Okay, so we're going to go to Subtool. We're going to duplicate the head. Okay, and then I'm going to solo it so we just see this head. And then Z-remesh that bad boy. I don't want to keep the groups, I don't think. No, I'm just going to let it do its thing. And then poly count, I'm going to go up to 8. That's 8,000. Just to capture. I'm not looking to capture all the details. I'm just looking to capture the volumes underneath, and then we'll subdivide and project the details down. And what I'm after is just a cleaner surface that I can subdivide and paint on. So I could do it on this model being in the state that it's in. It's totally fine. I could, but what I'm looking to do is do some subtle surface stuff, and I could run into issues with different patterns of the mesh underneath. And yeah, it's just better if I don't do that. Okay. Let's see what it gives us. Okay, that's perfect. That is good. Okay. Yeah, there's no like crazy pulls or anything like that. It still is giving us some of the volume in the eye bags here, which is good. So I'm going to subdivide this twice, and then we'll hide everything except for this mesh and the original. So we have those two, and then we're going to project both the color and the geometry. Okay, see, it made it tighter. And then I'm going to subdivide it again. We're at 1.2 million. So we'll project that. Okay. And then let's take a look at it. We can hide the original. Take a look at this. And you can go back and forth. If you hide both of these, like turn the eyeball off of both of these, you can use your arrow key to go up and down between subtools. And so that's the original, that's the new one. That's the original, that's the new one. Same, they're the same. Okay, we're good. So now we can delete the original. Make sure we're on the right one. Delete. Bye-bye. Is it better to project by geometry or by history? I'm an old-fashioned ZBrush user, so I always just project it just like that. I don't really use the history. I feel like there's a weird disconnection if it's like part of the same. I do, yep, exactly, John. Yeah, that's why. Yeah, if it's part of the same subtool, I almost feel like it's, I believe they're using a freeze subdivision levels to do that. And I'm really skeptical with freeze subdivision levels. So, look, he has no fingers. Yeah. Well, I thought this mouth would throw it off. And then I also thought this nose would throw it off. And the eye rings. I mean, there's a lot to go wrong in here, but it did a good job. So good job, ZBrush. Very impressive. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my hard paint brush. Then I'm gonna go get an alpha that has, it's like lines, streaky lines like this. See how this has kind of these streaky lines right here? And then I'm just going to play, I'm going to turn Sculptris Pro off. We're done with that. And then just kind of test. See, this is kind of what it does. So we can turn our RGB intensity way down. So it's just subtle. Or brush smaller. Maybe not that subtle. And then I kind of want to just go from the eyebrows and just curl up, but we're going to do transparent. If you do transparent, it allows you to draw through. And I'm going to hide this hair too. That's kind of how you can get some, so it looks like some hand-painted brush strokes on the surface there. It's going to kind of follow the hair. I'm going to make some bigger ones as well. Maybe too big. And then just kind of fade them off back towards the back of the head. Something like that. And then I'm going to do some darker ones around his eyes. These are the same color as is currently in his eye bags, but I just want to make more rings without sculpting more rings, you know? Let's turn transparency on again. Hide that mustachio. Where are you? There you are. And just kind of bring them down like this. And then some really dark ones down on his neck. Old man Jenkins' neck. Some bigger ones. That's fun. And then some maybe black ones or dark brown ones up in here. And then we can turn the alpha off and then go like turn the RGB intensity way down, get a big brush, turn the focal shift down so it's more like an airbrush, and just kind of subtly work some fake shadows up in there. It looks funny without his mustache, huh? By the way, is it true ZRemesher loves repeating loop details like those wrinkles around his eyes? I've seen some guys adding such loops on Sculpt instead of using ZRemesher guides. I'll give you a tip. I never use ZRemesher guides ever. It does such a better job at following peaks and valleys than it does ZRemesher guides in my experience. So I just don't use them. Yeah. He looks funny without a mustache. Let's get that back, his hair back. Okay, now the creases like down up in his brows and stuff. I want to do, you can do a brush, like a detail brush, that you can turn RGB on with it. So I'm gonna grab a really, really dark red, like almost black red, and then come in here and just kind of see what happens. It's too thick. It's hard to get that fall off. Maybe a smaller brush. There we go. Okay. That baseline. I'm going to turn symmetry off for a second and get just a one in the middle that's asymmetrical. I do want symmetry for these. That is one really fun thing about a subdivided mesh, is you can get some really nice poly paint going on. I don't think I've ever really taken a piece that I've done here on live and taken it to this level of poly paint before. It's pretty fun. Whoops. He's so mad. Not so dark up in here. Let's do okay. So I'm going to do the hair and then we'll shift it so he's not asymmetrical. Just wanted to make sure his eyes were subdivided all the way up. They were looking a little low. I want to take this dark color and go right around the inside of his eye though, with a little bit thicker of a line. Are you going to sleep, Spear Chuck? Sorry if I'm not crazy entertaining with this bit. Oh, I had my camera not turned well enough. Let's do it again. There we go. Did I not have symmetry turned on? Mother. Again. This time for sure. Okay. Okay. Is it good? We're good. Yay. All right. Ugh. This guy's coming out great. Thanks. Let's give him a... Let's turn this RGB intensity down and just kind of crawl up the sides of the nostril here. Maybe more of a red. And then just a regular paintbrush and fill some of this in. Just giving it a little bit of a fake ambient occlusion on the sides of his nose right here. Yeah, it's pretty red. Okay. From Brazil, hello. Welcome. Okay. I also wanted to like make his chin go a little bit wider and a little bit higher, just to kind of emphasize that gur face. And what I can do now that I have subdivision levels is I can go down to the lowest subdivision level and just kind of move it up like this. And then pull it out like even more gur-faced. So you can see his teeth in there. There we go. And then with his teeth. yeah, Marcus Hartel. He used to sculpt live on here, I thought. Marcus is one of my students, and he's taken poly paint to a whole new level. I do know that Pixelogic and Maxon, they did an interview with him, and yeah, really interesting stuff. Okay, let's do the hairs. And I think what we're going to have to do is something similar to what we did with the eyebrows, but not to the extreme level. I'm just going to kind of drag. Let's turn off AccuCurve. Drag this into the head a little bit more, just so we have a nice fade. Okay, and then subdivide it maybe 2 times, and then get rid of the subdivision levels, and then we're going to turn on Sculptress Pro and flood fill it. Zoop. Gotta be careful. I better save it. Name it 3. Okay. That's a bit dense. We probably don't have to go that dense with it. That's better. Okay. And basically, I'm wanting to I'm just wanting to like drag, see how we have these hairs kind of dragging up into his scalp here. That's what I'm after. So I'm going to drag, and then I'm going to cut into it with the carve brush. Same with down here. Natural kind of a edge to it, like that. And I can pull it out too. Got to be careful pulling it out because I don't want it to make a bump. So it's better to cut it in. Do you 3D print with color, or is it just fancy previews? I actually can get, I'm trying to get this level of detail on my prints. Maybe not like all these little lines and things, but yeah, this makes for a really fun render Yeah, because then when you put lighting on it, it just helps all the more, you know? Okay. Let's just kind of go fast here. Subtle little hairs at the end are the funnest because they kind of just disappear. See, and that just kind of makes a natural silhouette along the edge there. Getting a little too even up here. I want the chaos. Give me the chaos. There we go. This is a little heavy right there. Okay, let's see if I can pull this up and into his head. I just want to kind of get it to look like it's streaming up into his head. Something like that. Just not all of them, just here and there. I'm happy with that. All right. We'll just grab this color, fill it. Hooray. Okay, let's get him in perspective. All right, now what we've all been waiting for, it's time to pose him asymmetrically. This will be fun. Okay, so we're going to do another save as. Okay. So what we're going to do, let's take a look at all of our parts here. Okay, his brows are super dense. I think it's all fine. We can probably pose him with. Usually, what I'll do when I'm gonna pose something is I will get rid of anything that's either Dynamesh or Sculptus Pro, and I'll do what I did with the head, where I'll take the piece and duplicate it, subdivide it, or ZRemesh it, subdivide it, project it, and then I have a subdivided object, and it's much easier to pose that way. But with this guy, I mean, it's just his head, and I think it'll be fine. So, yeah, let's see what happens when we push T-pose mesh. It's going to make the whole thing dark. So let's go light so we can see him. There we go. So yeah, see how his mustache had low resolution, so it looks like this, but the eyebrows and the hair are very high resolution Sculptris Pro mesh, so it didn't go to a low resolution. Yeah, so what we can do is turn off this topological, and we're just going to kind of always want to mask off the eyeballs. And then we're going to bring this down, bring this up. Bring this up. Okay, and then I'm going to grab his whole entire head. Did I just move his nose? No. Okay, 1 second. I just got to check an email here. Oh, okay. I have a meeting right after this. I need to bip out a tad early for. Got a sitar going, is that what that is? Pew, pew. Okay, why no mask? There it goes. Blur. So what I'm going to do is I just want to bring his whole entire head forward and down. Like that. Just to give him more of that. And then turn it just a little bit. Turn it a little bit. Okay, clear it, go back to the high resolution. Then we're going to mess with his eyes. Oh, crash. Good thing we saved. All right. That is one reason why I typically will go through each of the subtools and make them have subdivision levels. It has a much better chance of working going back and forth. Because if you have a really dense mesh like those eyebrows, it has a hard time matching up, you know, with the before and after. So I think what I'm going to do, I might have to go. And I might just, basically you just saw me pose it. That's what I do. And then I take it and render it after that. I have been playing Hytale. How did you know? Yeah, I love that game. Okay, let's see, 41. Okay, this was pre-hair, so let's load in Angry Feller 3. I think we saved it post-hair, didn't we? Yeah, okay, there we go. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to go through and make objects with subdivisions, and then I'll do that. So I have to go get ready for my meeting. So all right, you guys, I'm going to end this right here. Just stick him right there. Thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. And once again, if you want to learn how to sculpt characters like this, you can join my school. It's a monthly membership, super cheap for what you get. It's I go live twice a week, and there's monthly challenges in there, all sorts of fun stuff. So yeah, go check it out. It's the link's in the description. It's school, skool.com/3DCW. And if you have any questions, feel free to send me an email at shane.olson@3dcharacterworkshop.com. All right, you guys, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you all next week. Sculpt.